Hello makers and planner friends. In this video, the second of, I believe, 5, I am going to talk about how I am using my 2023 Hobonichi Weeks. I have it in a Chic Sparrow weekly cover in, I want to say Emma. Is that what that is? You know what? I've got my... Yes, it is an Austin folio in Emma, size weekly, nothing fancy. All right, so this year I got the milk tea weeks, and what I didn't realize before purchasing it is that this type of cover doesn't lay flat. I have feelings about it. I have feelings, but it's really beautiful color. I think it doesn't lay flat because it's sort of like a leathery, faux leathery something. So it just doesn't. See? Normal Weeks. This is a Weeks Mega I've been using this year. Flat. Anyway, I will just say I have feelings about it. Okay. So, from the very beginning, oopsies. So let's just jump in. What I did with this year is this. I've transferred it all right here. And what it is it pertains to my relationship, which is currently on a hiatus. So I don't even know if I'll be doing it here or not. Jury's still out. This could all change. Anyway, it tracks time spent when he's traveling, things like that. Here, I always, from the very first weeks I ever got, put my weight. Since I always move over to my weeks in whenever it starts, so that last week of November, first part of December, I go ahead and use this December for the previous year, so 2022. And then I start writing my December 2022 weights in here. And this will be full of, hopefully some weight loss. But anyway, full of my weigh-ins, except for I stayed off the scale pretty much all year in 2022. It wasn't a focus. I was doing things I needed to do or not. Weight was coming off, but it was a byproduct of making healthier choices. So I was not scale obsessed. I wasn't trying to lose weight. I was just trying to make better choices. And what that did scale-wise was what it was. But I'm hoping to keep a little better track because I'm going to try even harder to make good choices and be healthier and move more and just basic adult health requirements, basically. That's what's going to be happening here. And then I am doing December. Oh, shoot. I'm probably supposed to tell you where I got that. Oh, come on, y'all. Who makes this? That's what I thought it was. Okay. All right, y'all. Sweet Freckled Designs. I wanted to say that, but I had a moment of, meh. What this is for me is basically just a catch-all. As plans get made, appointments get scheduled, all of that, I write it in here with a Pilot friction pen so that I can erase it if it changes. And then when it comes time for a week to happen, I'll write it in like permanent pen here. Or I transfer all of this over into my Hobonichi cousin in a more permanent way once the month comes. But that is what my monthlies are in the Hobonichi Weeks. Just all the things, not my work meetings so much. I have that in a Google Calendar. I have that in a work specific planner. I'm using the Wonderland 222 for work. But it all gets chucked in here. And then over in the weeklies, in the first, so you can see that this, well, maybe not with my bookmark here. This is an ollie clip. There's these little dots that sort of create a visual line. And so for the first two sections, it's appointments and scheduled things that have times or that are happening that day. And then in this last box is sort of to-dos, or if it's a holiday. This week is not just garbage, but recycling to go out. Payday, I want to post a YouTube video. Week 11 of my weekly mixed media challenge, just noted things. And then here is meal planning. I cook with my mom often, or for her. And she hates to meal plan, so I do it. And I tell her what she's having for dinner, which she's pretty okay with. Whenever I have HelloFresh meals, she and I cook them together. It goes really quick. And we have designated Friday as takeout day. So then there's once my HelloFresh are picked, there's really only 3 days that I have to figure out, all right, what are we eating? But this also comes in handy when you're in your fridge and you see leftovers and you're like, when did I make that? Is that still edible? Let me look in here. Then here will be notes, like this is what I did. This is the prompt I created for everyone for week 11. There's only 1 week left, so that will not be carried through into the next year. But this is my steps, and actually that reminds me, I was supposed to put my little sticker. It's a Coffee Monsters Co sticker. These are Coffee Monsters Co stickers. And then I will track my steps in there. This is not just my catch-all, this is my health and fitness book. So my steps I'm tracking here, unless I decide to add it to all of my charts and graphs in the back, which you will see shortly. If you watched my 2022 video on how I plan to use my weeks, I used a lot of charts and graphs, and I've made even more for 2023. How many of them I'll carry through for the entire year, I don't know. It depends on how focused I stay with things. But because my original December setup with all those charts and graphs did not include anything for steps, I just popped it here. I have been tracking that in my Hobonichi cousin. But that, since this is health and fitness and things, I'm doing it here. So this could be like a running weekly to-do list. This could be notes on something. This will fluctuate. I might just put deco, no real hard and fast rule for that section. The rest of this will stay pretty much the same. Okay, now here's where we get full, hardcore, no messing around, nerd. So, in this little indexy bit, I will just put each month, and I will highlight it in the color I plan to use for the month and write the color number. So Tombow dual brush pen color number. So this green is 158. Then we get into the charts and the graphs. So here we have a specific series of videos and it comes with a sort of schedule for how these shake out for you. So I've written that here so that I don't have to look it up all the time, but every Monday is something, every Tuesday is rest day, Wednesday, blah, blah, blah. So I can just glance here to know what I'm supposed to do for that day. Here I am tracking water. It's 8 ounce by 8 ounce glasses. So if I have one 8 ounce glass, 2, 3, blah, 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 track that. I've been so bad about water lately. So bad. I had a total of none yesterday. So I'm hoping that this will gradually just be in this area as I move on. All right, then I have miles. I want to start walking more. A couple years ago, learned about a system where, so in January, for me, I'm kind of doing whatever right now, but in January, just commit to walking a 1/4 mile per week, people. A 1/4 mile per week. You can do that. And then the next month, 1/2 mile per week. And if you're already walking and you want that starting point to be higher, get it. But pick a starting point and then every month, up it to some degree. You decide. But then you can gradually start walking more and more and more, and you have this little goal to try to achieve. But I did it last year until an injury. So if the objective was a mile per week, based on my schedule, if I could not go out and do a mile one day, I could split it up and do a 1/4 mile for 4 different days and still achieve that mile. I could do a 1/2 mile 2 days. I could do a mile all in one whack. And of course, I can do more. But this is like a minimum thing. This month doesn't have any requirement. That's going to start for me in January. So I didn't write it. But in January, I might be inclined to write or indicate with something what that goal is. And then we have tracking sleep, both hours and quality, from 1 to 10 hours. Don't generally sleep longer than 10 hours, but sometimes I go to bed quite early. So for instance, Friday was rough. I got about 5.5 hours of sleep because I went to bed really early, but then I woke up at 3:30 in the morning. And the quality of that sleep was maybe a 4. So it was kind of all over the place. Then I'm tracking mental health, mood, anxiety, and stress with these 3 different indicators. Blood sugar, my fasting blood sugar, and my before bed blood sugar. Keeping an eye on that. And of course, if you know anything about diabetes, things like stress, sleep, exercise, all affect your blood sugar. So I kind of have all of that graphed out, and I can be like, why is my blood sugar so janky? Oh, I have not been sleeping, and I've been stupid stressed and 0 exercise. Okay, that's jiving. And then over here, I have like my meal timings, because I have a very bad habit of getting up in the morning, drinking a caloric drink, like maybe a protein shake, or my coffee with creamer, and just dragging that out, slowly drinking it in the morning. And then it's like 10, and I think I should have something to eat. Well, my blood sugar is staying high because I'm drinking coffee with creamer, and then I decide, oh, let's tack on an actual breakfast. And so my blood sugar stays up. Whereas if I would get up, make a cup of coffee and breakfast, eat it all at the same time, my blood sugar would have a chance to go back down before lunch, when I am then going to bring it back up. So this is another way of me looking and saying, what the hell? oh, right, because look what I did. I ate something, and then I drank something, and then I ate something, and it all works in tandem. Then I have started to track food in an app. I hate doing that. It makes me way too focused on food and things, but for the time being, I am going to do it again because I am, again, trying to learn some things about my habits and how it's all correlating and working together and blah, blah, blah. So I'm tracking protein, fat, carbs. I'm trying to be way better about how many carbs I eat per meal because, again, blood sugar. So then I have health notes, just anything like, was my back really hurting? Put the date, say, crap, my back. Was my blood sugar abnormally low? Like sometimes it crashes at night while I'm sleeping and I feel like I'm going to stroke out when I see that number. Make a note of it. Did I have a wildly raging headache? Make a note of it so that I can take this whole daggone thing to the doctor and I will have more information than they ever thought humanly possible. And when they're like, well, when did your back start hurting? I can be like, let me just tell you, doc, because I got it right here. All right, so those are my totally geeky charts and graphs. And again, I might add a whole sleeping one that covers the whole month, but I'm not sure yet. Or not sleeping, sorry, steps. All right. I think that's all I got. That's how I'm using it. You got appointments and events and scheduled jibby-jabbies. You got notes and holidays and to-dos and something about the day. You got meal planning. You got rando, tentative step trackage. You got all your personal things tentatively planned that you can then move forward to your other planners, but erase it if it's no longer valid. And a date / travel / whatever tracker. Time spent with a particular loved one, I guess. It kind of started when we would sort of work out a schedule and I would just like mark them in because the gray tells me that it's just part of the day. The green tells me that it's an overnight, and I could just look at that and get a glimpse of when I was meant to spend time with him if I wasn't ready to fill out the whole calendar for the month. So it was just sort of an at a glance of when I had plans with him or when I for sure wouldn't because he was out of town. Anyway, that's how that all started. All right, that's it, guys. That's all I got. I keep a little ruler back here. I keep some of those payday recycling garbage stickers here. Pencil board in this size here. And I kind of touch base with this first thing in the morning so that I can fill out this stuff. And then again at the end of the day. I don't spend a ton of time in this. And then typically on Sundays, I come in and I fill this out for the week. All right. That is my 2023 Hobonichi Weeks. Feel free to comment below and tell me what you think. How you feel about my high-level nerding with my charts and graphs, and if you're going to use anything like that. Or any other ideas that you can share with everybody about how you'll be using yours in the coming year. Take care.